Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Collector's Edition Wonder Woman. This is a classic, iconic Wonder Woman. Not only that, but this is the Platinum Chase variant, and she's done in the Superpowers or Silver Age color scheme. I ordered this thing from Big Bad Toy Store. They had it up there for a very fair price, and it sold out in just a couple minutes. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse Wonder Woman, Platinum Edition, McFarlane Collector's Edition. Here she is in the package. Ton of accessories, shield, axe, sword, extra hands, lasso, collector's card, display stand, and more. McFarlane Collector's Edition Wonder Woman from Who is Wonder Woman. This is the 10th figure in the Collector's Edition subline. On the back side, here's Wonder Woman posed up, looking fantastic. And at the bottom, looks like Big Bad Toy Store put their own barcode to cover up her barcode, which is fine because it wouldn't help you anyway, as it's the same barcode from the regular release. So with no further ado, let's open her up. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here she is with all of her accessories laid out, and this figure comes decked out with accessories. She has a display stand, a collector's card, display stand for a collector's card, Wonder Woman's signature shield, sword, axe, and the lasso of truth. In addition to that, she has 6 interchangeable hands. But before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Wonder Woman, brand new McFarlane figure. This Wonder Woman has been dubbed as the classic Wonder Woman, and as far as the regular version goes, personally when I think of a classic Wonder Woman, I think of sort of a Silver Age older version. I call her more of an iconic Wonder Woman, but classic is just however you portray your Wonder Woman in your mind. Now, this is what I think of when I think of classic Wonder Woman from like the 70s, maybe the 60s, etc. And yeah, it's even older than I was, so it's not like that's what Wonder Woman was when I grew up. I'd say the other one is closer to that, but this is more what I think of when I hear classic Wonder Woman. So it's really nice to have both options, even though there are not a lot of differences between the two figures. So, let's take a look. Starting with her face here, it looks pretty good. You can see the eyes, a lot of detail there. Eyebrows above it. She has her tiara. It's more of like a yellow color than gold. It's got the star on it. Let's go further down. She's got pretty nice features there. The Wonder Woman logo, red armor, light blue on her shorts, and then little stars there. The American hero. Her gauntlets here, they're done at sort of a dark blue, and they feel, I don't know, like they're almost like they're sort of squishy. They're not the same kind of plastic as the rest of the figure. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. Seen a lot of people complain about the feet, and I get it. I mean, they look sort of like tennis shoes. They have the tread. She normally wears high heels, but this makes a little bit more sense for Wonder Woman, but the heels would have been more desirable. Everything looks good back there. She has a little clip to hold her lasso. So, I've already had the regular version for a couple weeks, and I already have my opinions on what I like and don't like about it, and I doubt any of that will change with this figure. And a closer look at her face and head sculpt, which I think actually went pretty good. McFarlane did a good job on her. Classic, iconic, modern Wonder Woman, Diana. It's about time. And now we have two options, at least for those of us lucky to find one. Here's a look at her tickle bitties. She's very, how shall we say, full in this area. Nothing wrong there. Looks pretty good. Now she is missing the second ball joint under her torso. And you know what? I don't really mind. The waist gets enough articulation there. And I had a lot of requests to go over the backside as well. Now it looks pretty good. It is a lot of reuse from the Superwoman figure. And it's weird. If you bend her over, she actually has sculpted ass cheeks on the actual legs. It's not just the diaper giving her that form. And I have 3 major complaints about this figure. The same stand for the regular release and the platinum release. So first of all, her shoulders. The butterfly joints there, while they look okay like this, can easily expose that giant gap, and it can look absolutely hideous. Both sides there. When you're doing the butterfly joints on a fleshy area, it almost always looks bad. I mean, it doesn't look great like this, but God, it can look so much worse so easily. Number 2 is going to be the feet. Yes, they have tread like they're shoes or running shoes, sneakers, etc. And that sort of makes more sense for a practical version of Wonder Woman. But in the comics, she typically has the heels and looks much better that way. And then the last thing is going to be her lasso. I just hate it was a plain string, not a bendy wire. Could have done so much more with that. And then here's the figure, broken down as far as she can go, with all of her removable parts detached. Now let's check out her accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. Here's her display stand. Typical McFarlane stand we've seen a million times before. It's a black circle. The only difference is this one has silver DC at the bottom. Very thin, very basic. Now for our collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of Wonder Woman from the comics. She has her two bracelets sort of cross. McFarlane Collector's Edition on the back side. There is a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. And here's the Platinum Chase Variants Collector's card on the left, next to the original versions on the right. They're 100% the same, which I think sucks. There should be something to differentiate the Platinum Chase versions. There used to be. I don't know why they went away from that. And it doesn't do much for me, but if you want to display your collector's card next to the figure, they have a stand to do so. It's a shame to see this is where the extra money goes on the collector's edition line, though. Now let's check out her hands. She has a total of 6 of them, 3 left hands and 3 right hands. Here she is, with her first pair of hands. These are her fists. And here's her second pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands for her weapons, but they also have trigger fingers, which is dumb. I mean, what you gonna do? Use her gun axe? I mean, come on. And here's her third pair of hands. This is a pair of open hands, completely outstretched. Now for our weapons, the sword, the axe, and the shield. These are all repurposed from the Justice League Endless Winter Wonder Woman, but it makes perfect sense. And these are colored a little bit different from the regular release. We have the sword here, handle, good amount of sculpting detail, done in yellow versus gold. Blade, nothing really special going on there. Then we have our axe. It has quite a bit of sculpting detail in the blade there. Very nicely done. Nice sculpt on the handle. Not really feeling the yellow paint job. Then of course we have her shield. Ton of sculpting there. Even has a little bit of damage at the top. Wonder Woman logo. And then straps to hold it into her arms. Here are the Platinum Chase variants of her weapons on the left. Next to the regular versions on the right. I prefer the gold color scheme of the regular versions, but I appreciate they made the platinum ones different. Here's Wonder Woman holding her sword. Then, here's Wonder Woman holding her axe, which she can hold with either one hand or with 2. And here's Wonder Woman utilizing her shield. Her arm sort of fits into the strap like so. And I always like my Wonder Woman with the sword and the shield combo. Now let's look at her lasso. Now when I first saw this thing, I thought it was a giant bendy wire. I thought that was cool as hell. But it turned out it's just a big string. And let me tell you, that is not nearly as cool as I thought it was going to be. So this one is done in yellow. Completely stretches out. Like I said, it's just a big string. So it's really hard to get her to, number 1, hold it. Number 2, capture somebody or have it into cool poses. Here's the platinum lasso on the left. Next to the original version on the right. I do prefer the gold version, but I also appreciate they made the platinum one different again. And here's Wonder Woman holding her lasso of truth. It's just sort of dangling off to the side there, limp string. And now, here's Wonder Woman holding the lasso onto her side. It is very hard to get this accomplished. I much prefer the pre-posed lassos to go into her holster. Something more like this is just so much easier to attach and handle on her side. Now I wanted to check out the differences between this Platinum Chase Wonder Woman and the standard version. And besides the obvious paint differences, there are no other differences. It's 100% the same figure, same sculpt, same articulation. So let's take a look. So, starting with their heads here, exactly the same, except the tiara is done in yellow versus gold. As you go further down, same with the torso. All the gold highlights are done in yellow. And the red here, a lot darker. Here it's a lot brighter. And then her sort of diaper area, light blue versus dark blue. Her bracelets, silver versus dark blue. And then her feet, just a dark red versus a light red. As a whole, I like having the option. We have a more modern Wonder Woman, and then a little bit more of a classic old school Wonder Woman. They made some similar Wonder Woman variations in their Superpowers line. We have the one on the left, that's their second release. It has the light blue on the sort of diaper area, dark blue on the gauntlets, the yellow trim. And the one on the right, it's just like the larger one. Gold trim, darker red, darker blue. Now I want to check out the reuse, similarities, and differences between this Wonder Woman and the Crime Syndicate Superwoman figure. So, starting with their heads, obviously they're completely different. When we go to the torso area, it is also different. Diaper area, also different. Shoulders, top of the arms, elbows the same. I'd say the forearm part's a little bit different. The hands are the same. Top part of the legs the same. Knees the same. And then the bottom part of the legs are different as they have different kind of boots. This is what I call smart reuse. Doesn't bother me at all. Wonder Woman looks fantastic. So does Superwoman. And I don't really see each other in this corresponding figures. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and her accessories, now for her height. From bottom to the top of her head, standing right about 7.2 inches tall, which can translate to just over 18 centimeters. Now for articulation. Starting with her head, of course, it can rotate from side to side, and if you want to, you can get the hair all the way over the shoulders. She can't really look up at all, but down a pretty good amount. She could tilt her head from side to side, but the hair is going to prevent that. Shoulders, a ball joint goes out way more than 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. Butterfly joint between her shoulder and chest, increasing range of motion, covering large gap at least some of the time. Bicep cut, although it's very limited. Double jointed elbows, they go all the way in. The wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. Solid piece in her torso, which does surprise me. Normally the figure has an extra ball joint down here, but it really doesn't bother me too much as the waist gets you most of what you need. Rotate from side to side, forward and back, pretty good amount. It does increase the sculpt, having it one solid piece, doesn't break it up. Legs, completely does the splits. McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is non-existent. They go forward about that much. Back not much. Double jointed knees below that. And then her ankle, forward and back. Rotate. Tilt rock, although, there it goes. And of course, to articulation. Here's a look at Wonder Woman standing in some old ruins of Themyscira. And a closer look at Wonder Woman in these old ruins. Here's a look at Wonder Woman taking on Steppenwolf from Zack Snyder's Justice League. And here she is, fighting Cheetah in hand-to-hand combat. Then, here's Wonder Woman trying to bring down Calabac with her lasso of truth. And finally, here's Wonder Woman blocking Superwoman's heat vision with her bracelets, sending it right back to her. And here's a look at both Wonder Woman figures in a castle-type setting in Themyscira. Now after around, next is with our action figures, starting off with our Wonder Woman figures. Here's this Platinum Chase Wonder Woman, next to the standard version on the right. And here she is, next to the 1984 Wonder Woman. This is from the DC Cinematic Universe, played by Gal Gadot. This was my favorite Wonder Woman until very recently. Then, next to the Batman, Last Night on Earth Wonder Woman. Also a very good figure, although I'm not feeling the mohawk look. And now, with the Death Metal Wonder Woman, also a nice figure, but she makes me think of Big Barda more than Wonder Woman. Here she is, next to the Todd McFarlane designed Wonder Woman. Also a nice figure, but has some pain issues. I believe they messed up in the stomach area, and way too many spikes for me. I also think the gold label one looks a lot better. Then, next to the Justice League and this Winter Wonder Woman, also a nice Wonder Woman figure, but she's in sort of her winter gear. And finally, next to the Flashpoint Wonder Woman, she's in an armored look. Very well done, although the articulation is a little bit more limited than I'd like. Here are all of the McFarlane DC Multiverse Wonder Woman figures. We have a total of 14 of them so far. Almost each one has its own variant. I'm not aware of what the next one's going to be, but I doubt it's going to surpass this one. Here she is, next to all of my DC Direct and DC Collectibles Wonder Woman figures. Then, next to a Noble Toys Bendy figure Wonder Woman. And now, next to all my Mattel Wonder Woman figures. And here are all of my 6 and 7 inch scale Wonder Woman figures. Quite the collection at this point, and there are a ton that I'm missing. Here she is, next to McFarlane Donna Troy. Then, next to Mattel Cassie Wonder Girl. Now stick around, next is one of the McFarlane Platinum Chase figures. I am now finally fully caught up on the Platinum Chase variants. Here she is next to the first two. This is the all-bronze version of Batman and Joker from Arkham Asylum. And here she is, next to the all-gold version of Batman from Arkham Knight and Deathstroke from Arkham Origins. After that, they released a silver armor Gorilla Grodd and a lighter blue Dr. Fate from Injustice 2. I actually got 3 of those Gorilla Grodd figures. I was going to use the silver armor Gorilla Grodd as a soldier in Gorilla Grodd's army, with the gold one being Gorilla Grodd himself. After that, they released Ben Affleck Batman, the Batfleck from Zack Snyder's Justice League. This one has the goggles up. To my knowledge, this is the only McFarlane DC Multiverse Platinum Chase variant with any sculpting differences whatsoever. At this point, McFarlane decided to take a complete different turn with their Platinum Chase variants. They made these unpainted artist-proof figures. Personally, I was not a fan of these. I know some people are. Some people want to repaint the figures. Some people just kind of like these blank versions. But they didn't really do much for me. I'm a completist, so I'm tracking down everything in this line. And having to track down something that's rare and you don't really want kind of sucks. So I'm really happy they abandoned this. That's just me. Who out there actually likes these things? I'm curious. I'm sure there are plenty of people. I've actually talked to some guys that are like, oh, I really missed that. They were awesome. Do you guys like them? If so, why? Kind of curious. Let me know. I really do wish they did Clayface like this, though. That would have been nice. And then again, McFarlane took another complete different direction with the Platinum Chase variants. I think this was in response to people complaining. Say you order one on Amazon or from GameStop, and you expect to get a wonderful green detailed Swamp Thing, and you get this gray unpainted thing. You can be kind of pissed off, and I totally get it. If you don't have a choice of matter, and you randomly get something you don't want, and, you really have no need for, I can understand, pain in the ass to return it, blah, 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 blah. So, they started making painted Platinum Chase variants again, and I was so happy when I found out. They looked awesome. These next three are fantastic. The Superpowers Mr. Freeze, the gray Nightfall Catwoman, and the dark colors Jake Garrick. I was really happy with the direction they were going with the Platinum Chase variants. If you're going to have to track something down, at least give me something you enjoy. And I enjoy all three of these quite a bit. They released a Platinum Chase variant from Batgirl in the Page Puncher, fighting the Frozen line. This is the only Page Puncher to get a Platinum Chase variant, at least so far. They released a Platinum Chase variant of the DC Classics Riddler. This is based off Super Friends, and can go with your Superpowers collection. Here's Wonder Woman, next to the Platinum Chase variant of Supergirl. This is a Target exclusive, and to my knowledge, the only gold label Platinum figure they've released. And the final two Platinums in the regular line is the Jim Gordon Batman and Brainiac. And then we have the McFarlane Collector's Edition subline. Each of these figures has a Platinum Chase variant. There are a total of 10 so far. Here she is, next to the Platinum Chase variants from the first wave. First appearance Superman, Alan Scott Green Lantern, and the Abyss. Then, here she is, next to the second wave of McFarlane Collector's Edition Platinum Chases, Firestorm, Hawkman, and Sinestro. And finally, the third wave of Collector's Edition figures. We have the Kryptonite Poison Superman, Classic Captain Carrot, and Lantern Energy, Batman as Green Lantern. And then, of course, they released Wonder Woman, and here's her Platinum Chase variant, finally completing the collection. So here are all the McFarlane DC Multiverse Platinum Chase variants. I count a total of 38. I believe 18 of them came out in 2023. And I really like the direction McFarlane has been going lately with the paint variants, but there are definitely some duds out there. The Collector's Edition Wave 3, I thought most of those suck. The Kryptonite Poison Superman, the Transparent Batman, hell, the Alan Scott from the first wave. There have definitely been some duds out there, but some really cool ones as well. I'm officially caught up. There are no Platinum Chase variants in the Multiverse line that I need right now. I'm sure in the next 3-4 days we'll probably find out about some more, somebody finding some on the shelf somewhere, but it's pretty cool not to be on the hunt for any at the moment. I am still looking for the 1966 Lord Deathman. That guy's been evading me. They haven't hit targets yet around here, so, there's always something to hunt. Now start her out next to some of the McFarlane Collector's Edition figures. Here she is, next to the first wave, both the Platinum Chase variants and the regular versions of the first appearance Superman, Abyss, and the Alan Scott Green Lantern. And here she is, next to the second wave, Firestorm, Hawkman, and Sinestro. And finally, next to the third wave, the return of Superman, Captain Carrot, and Batman. Now, personally, not a fan of the Batman or the Superman variants. Carrot's kind of cool. Rumor is, Wave 4 of the Collector's Edition is going to be Starfire, Captain Boomerang, and Penguin. That sounds really cool, and can't wait to see the Platinum Chases, if that's accurate. If you're looking for a sort of classic trinity, this is the one I would recommend. Scale-wise, I think they're pretty good. Color-wise, excellent. This is Superman from the Superman vs. Atomic Skull 2-pack. It's the Action Comics 1000 Superman in a lighter blue. Then, of course, the Platinum Chase variant of Wonder Woman, and then the Nightfall Batman. Even though he's from the 90s, it could easily work as like a 70s Batman. And height-wise, I think it's good. Yes, Wonder Woman is a tiny bit taller, but I like the Amazons being tall. Yes, canonically, I think Superman should be the tallest, and then Wonder Woman and Batman slightly shorter, but I like the way these look together. Then, with some more modern comic versions of the Justice League, she fits in great. She's the gap we've needed for so long now. I was thinking, what are the main members of the Justice League that we're missing? Comic versions, modern by McFarlane. Green Arrow and Black Canary come to mind. We do have the Injustice 2 Green Arrow, but I want a comic version. And then Hawkgirl comes to mind. They've really hit all the main ones at this point. Yeah, I want a cyborg that's not a monstrosity giant. But for now, this'll do. McFarlane DC Multiverse collection shaping up. Now stick around. Next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here she is. Next to the big bad Toy Store exclusive, gold label, black and white accent, Aquaman and Joker. Here's Wonder Woman. Next to some recent McFarlane Toy Store exclusive figures. We have the black and white line art sketch Black Manta, the Batman Deadly Duo Joker, the patina variant of Merciless, and the Interrogation Room Heath Ledger Joker. And here she is, next to the Batman and Robin movie wave. Collective build, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze. Then, with some recent Target exclusive figures, Midnighter and Wave Rider. And now, with the Target exclusive Flashpoint wave, collective build Cyborg. Here she is, next to the Amazon exclusive Glow in the Dark variants of the Infected Batman, Titan Joker, Swamp Thing, and Jon Stewart Green Lantern. And here, next to some Entertainment Earth exclusive figures, we have the Blacklight figure on the left, and some sketch light art figures on the right. Then, next to the Injustice 2, Superman and Brainiac. And now, with the Last Night on Earth, Batman vs. Omega 2-pack. And finally, next to the Dark Knights of Steel Batman, and both versions of the Jim Gordon Batman. Now stick around, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how she fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know what lines you can mix her with. Since she's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check her out with some of her McFarlane toys brothers and sisters. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some DST or Diamond Select toys, here's Wonder Woman next to a tennis ball. Here she is, with some DC Direct, and some NECA figures. And here she is, next to both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. Then, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. And now, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH Figure Arts and some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a very nice Wonder Woman figure. Yes, she is not perfect. The butterfly joints really bother me. The shoes bother me a little bit, but not as much as most people out there. And I've seen some people complain about the lack of the ball joint in the torso. Honestly, it doesn't bother me at all. It looks great. Now, I rated the original one an 8.5 out of 10, and I think it still deserves that. It's a really good figure. Yes, it's not perfect, but a damn near perfect Wonder Woman's going to get like a 9.5. And this one here, I'm also going to give it an 8.5. I like it equally as much as the other one. I will get more use out of the other one, so I guess I like that one a little bit more as it's going to stand with the modern Justice League. But if you want to put the classic characters together, bam, here she is. Sculpt and paint job, excellent, no issues there. Accessories, plentiful, although I don't like the lasso. Her articulation is pretty good, although the shoulders, the butterfly joints definitely bother me, as you can see those gaps sometimes. She's perhaps a little too tall next to some of the figures, a little too short next to some of the others, but that's just sort of the inconsistency of the McFarlane DC Multiverse line. 0.2 inches can make a hell of a difference. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.